So I know it's been quite a while, um, about a month and a half since I've posted anything on here. Life has been hectic. If you've been following my journey, you know that about 3 months ago, I started working my first full-time job. Prior to that, I was working part-time as a tutor or a reading specialist or at home. On my graphic design business, I make custom t-shirts, invitations, and all that. But working a 9 to 5 is like a completely different beast, right? So I had been a stay-at-home mom for most of my life, other than the occasional tutoring and babysitting gig. And I have also been a full-time student for a while, except for recently I moved to part-time because I started working full-time. So I'm very, very much introverted. I have ADHD, I have social anxiety, I have depression, and cerebral palsy. So I was just so used to being at home in my room or in my little office all day, uh, working at my own pace, getting things done at my own time, as long as the t-shirts or invitations or whatever it is, whatever order I had to work on, as long as they were done by the certain deadline. It didn't really matter if I did it all at one time or if I took my time, you know, doing it slowly. And that's one of the pros, I think, of being your own business, is that you have so much more freedom. You're not bound to a 9 to 5 where you have to be in an office or in a certain building for you know, 8 or 9 hours a day. I recently started working as a speech language pathologist, or a speech therapist, at two different charter schools. So I'm at one charter school for 2 days out of the week and the other charter school for 3 days out of the week. I'm there for 8.5 hours with a half-hour lunch break. So I'm done by 4 p.m., right? And having to wake up uh, early every day to get to work early, and uh, being there for 8 hours, being around people, because I don't even have my own office at this point. I share a space with another speech and language pathologist and a speech and language pathologist assistant. Um, Being around people, having to socialize with teachers, with principals, with school psychologists, because as a speech therapist, you do have to attend a lot of IEP meetings for students who are in special education services, and you have to go over the students' progress and how they're doing in speech, and go over reports and assessments, while a lot of times it's not just you and the parents. It's you and the parents and an administrator, usually the principal or vice principal, and a school psychologist if they're also providing services, as well as the student's teacher. And it's just a whole mess of things, right? And for someone who is very introverted and has social anxiety and is not used to being around people all day, much less talking to people all day, because I have always had confidence and self esteem issues, partly due to my disability. So I don't have very much confidence in what I have to say, even though I know that I can do my job, and I know that I'm doing my job well, or as well as I can do it, considering I'm very much a beginner. Um, but I am still not confident in myself. And a lot of times during these meetings, that's what parents want to see, right? They want to see confidence. And I think that just adds to my anxiety and my imposter syndrome, which I've been feeling ever since I started working at this job. Point being that working in an environment like that for 8.5, 8 hours a day, even though I love being a speech therapist, I love working with the kiddos, I love seeing their progress, it's exhausting. It's exhausting because I'm introverted, because I have anxiety, and because I'm not used to um, being around people all day. So by the time I get home, I literally don't want to do anything except just lay on my bed and watch my anime show or whatever show I happen to be binging on at the time, and eat junk food and just lock myself in my room and not be bothered by anyone because I'm so exhausted, not only physically, but mentally as well. And I don't know if this is something that I'm going to get used to, if it'll get better with time since I've only been there for uh, a little over 3 months. But the first week or two, I would get home with a killer migraine and I would puke my guts out. I would just throw up because I felt so sick and so tired. And even though I still get home feeling exhausted, I'm past the headaches now. I rarely ever get migraines. So that is a good sign, I guess. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just want to send out a message out there that if you have social anxiety, and low self esteem, and you feel like you're emotionally stunted, like I have always felt like, even though I'm an adult, I've always felt like I never mentally really made it past the age of like 12 because I never learned how to fend for myself. I don't drive or I rarely cook. My parents kind of sheltered me and overprotected me because I have a disability. Um, and I think that adds to the fact that I have no self esteem and that I have so much social anxiety because I feel incompetent in a way. I just want to put it out there that if I can get out there and do this and have a full time job and go to school, despite all of my crazy anxiety and negative thoughts about myself, that I feel like you can do it too. And it's not going to be easy. It's absolutely terrifying. It's absolutely paralyzing at times. I started taking propranolol, which is the way I understand it, it's used to regulate like blood pressure, but it's also used as a second line medication to treat the symptoms, the physical symptoms of anxiety, which I had never taken before. And if you've been following my mental health journey, you know that I've talked about how I have a lot of physical symptoms. Like I tend to blush, I have the heart palpitations, the sweaty palms. And so I started seeing a new psychiatrist. Unfortunately, I have to pay out of pocket to see him because I was tired of waiting on my insurance, and waiting for the psychiatrist that my insurance covers to have any openings. And so I figured if I want somebody that I can have like access to immediately and that I feel will provide better care, I might have to pay out of pocket. So that's what I started doing. And he has been great. And he really listens to what I have to say as far as my symptoms. And he prescribed propranolol to help manage some of those physical symptoms of anxiety. So a lot of time when I'm going into a high stress situation, like I'm about to have a meeting where I have to be the center of attention, I will take uh, the propranolol about a half hour to an hour before the meeting, and it really does kind of regulate my symptoms. Like I still feel anxious, but the physical symptoms aren't really there, which really helps me get through the meetings. I'm not going to do a medication update because if I'm being honest, these couple of weeks have been so chaotic that I haven't even been taking my medication regularly like I'm supposed to. And I don't feel like whatever I have to say about the effects of medication would be very helpful because I'm not taking it consistently. So once I get back on track with taking my medication consistently, which is hopefully sometime this week, because I'm currently on spring break, I will come back and update you guys on how my medication is doing. I switched from the modafinil to another stimulant medication known as Focalin, and he started me on a very, very low dose, and I have to take it twice a day. But like I said, I haven't been taking it consistently. But the propranolol, I can say with certainty that I feel like um, it's really done a lot as far as helping me manage the physical symptoms of anxiety. Because a lot of the medication that's meant for anxiety, it's more of a mental thing, right? So if you feel like you have a lot of physical symptoms that are hard to control, like the blushing, the heart palpitations, or the sweaty palms, you might want to look into propranolol. This is not medical advice, of course. This is just speaking from my own experience. Um, right now I'm on spring break and I go back. I still have about a week and a half left. So that's another thing that I wanted to bring up. If you are introverted and you have anxiety and you feel like you need tons of breaks while working, which I know that I definitely do, I feel like there's no better place than working in a school setting, full time, because you get so many days off, right? You get spring break, you get summer break, you get all the federal holidays off, like Martin Luther King Day, Veterans Day, President's Day. Really, we're only working about 185 to 190 days a year. We're not working the 365 days a year. And of course, we have weekends off, right? So that's one of the reasons why I felt that the pros definitely outweigh the cons as far as working in a school setting for me, because I know that I need as much downtime as I can get due to all my conditions and the fact that I'm so easily fatigued. And that is something that I'm just really enjoying, being able to be right now on spring break with my son, because I'm working at the same school where he's going to right now. And being able to spend more time with him really is priceless. And of course, all that extra downtime, which I definitely need. Anyway, so that is my update for now. I will be back hopefully. And yeah.